When, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, devises a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such government, and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these people, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present political class, both parties, the Supreme Court and the numerous bureaucrats in the capital included, is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these people. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. They have succeeded by half-truths and lies to cast citizens concerned with the health of their nation as enemies. They have manipulated the law to bestow preferential treatment onto their political allies, while abusing the law to injure their enemies. They have striven to consolidate power rightly afforded to the people into the branches of government of which they control. They have assailed the constitutional institutions of power in the country. Among them are the Electoral College and Bill of Rights. They have refused to consider the grievances of the people. Among these grievances are the proper and just administration of elections. They have denigrated races of people and blamed on these people the crimes of the past. They have weakened our border and demonized attempts to provide for its security. They have engaged in ceaseless wars in foreign lands. They have excited domestic insurrections among us and have endeavored to distract from the acts of their aggression. They have undermined the strength of our economy, for arranging deals with foreign nations to enrich those nations at our expense, for interfering in our finances through excessive taxation, for interfering in our business through uneven regulation, for imposing on us dictates of executive agencies acting in place of the legislature. They have undermined the stability of our currency, for placing our currency in the control of banks and allowing those banks to borrow and create money, for misappropriating our money to unconstitutional and corrupt purposes. They have invaded our privacy through invasive and ubiquitous surveillance programs, employing opaque methods to obtain or avoid warrants. They have deprived us of possessions without due process of law, chiefly the seizure and sale of property without conviction. They have plundered our purses, stripped us of our privacy, drove away the means to our own betterment, and destroyed the lives of the people. In every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. Nor have we been wanting in attentions to our moderate brethren. We have warned them from time to time of attempts by the political class to extend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the principles of our founding and settlement here. We have appealed to constitutional justice and magnanimity, and we have conjured them by the ties of our common kindred to disavow these usurpations, which would inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They too have been deaf to the voice of justice and of consanguinity. We must therefore acquiesce in the necessity, which denounces our separation, and hold them, as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, in peace, friends. We, Therefore, appealing to the supreme judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do solemnly publish and declare that these people are, and of right ought to be, free and independent people, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the federal capital, and that all political connection between them and this form of government is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as a free and independent people, they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which an independent people may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.